Alright you guys, so it looks like we have some new leaks that will possibly reveal the character that is going to be coming into Piggy Book 2 Chapter 10. We're also going to be breaking down some things that we noticed, and we're going to be sharing that with you all. But if you do enjoy today's video, remember to leave a like on it and feel free to subscribe for more. And if you want to share further support to me, you can always use star code BIGB2 when purchasing Robux or Premium. So Piggy Book 2 Chapter 10, which will hopefully come out next weekend. Super excited, as I personally feel like this will be one of the best chapters. We also have IKEA's that's going to be returning to this chapter, so it's going to be a scary one, let's just say that. So this is going to be phenomenal. So Minitoon did put out a leaked picture of this last week, and this was an amazing reveal, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because this shows that this looks like it's in the insolence realm, or something to do with the insolence. As you can see, we have the purple hat there and the eye of insolence right there, and we also have the swirl portals in the background, which we know this portal possibly has something to do with the insolence. Why? Because the insolence have been going through portals ever since we met with Mr. Stitchy. It's been like that purple portal. And then also in docks, we also had Marcus teleporting through a portal, and even the crawling trap. So I do think that this does take us to another dimension, and maybe those are also dimensions of different characters. Now the most important thing I want to talk about is who is going to be this character returning. Minitoon did say the quote is going to be saying, finally we meet face to face after all this time. So this is going to mean that there's a character that we are going to be meeting face to face that we have not seen in a very long time, or never seen, but we've heard a lot about. And this character, I believe, is Mrs. P. And I'm going to go and break down some points on why I think this is Mrs. P. So I look forward to hearing your opinion and thoughts on this. So why would this be Mrs. P? Well, one thing I don't know if you've noticed, which is why I'm leaning more towards this is Mrs. P. So there is just a hat laying on the ground. I do want to first point out and say that it is purple. Yes, purple would represent, I would assume, Mr. P, Mrs. P. Just gonna throw that out there because they did get a massive skin change. But we have a hat laying on the ground. That's it, with an eye of insolence. Now, knowing Minitoon, what other scene resembles this scene the most? Comment it down below. I'll give you a second to think about it. But if you don't know what other scene resembles a hat laying down on the floor, well, guess what? Remember back in Piggy Book 1 Chapter 12? Guess whose hat was laying in the middle of the floor at the very end? Mr. P. So I think this is kind of symbolic here that we have Mr. P who left his hat laying on the floor, and he's just kind of a mystery character gone. And then it will only make sense to be that there's a hat laying on the floor in this one, in this chapter coming up. And I would assume that would be Mr. P's wife, Mrs. P. So it looks like they have a thing of, you know, keeping hats on their head because they're kind of potatoes. So that's one thing that would really line this up. Mr. P left a hat laying on the floor. Now it looks like Mrs. P is laying a hat on the floor. Just as an example, a little Easter egg. Possibly, that's also one thing. Another thing that also makes me think that it resembles Mr. and Mrs. P is because even when we find Mrs. P's picture, it's under a purple car or a violet car. Anything that pretty much has to do with Mrs. P is always around something violet or purple, at least. Not saying that makes sense because Zizzy was also in violet and purple, and then that's the first time we actually saw a picture of Mrs. P. I'm just pointing that out. But no, that is like 100% me thinking that this is Mrs. P. And it's a character we have not seen and we want to know more about, and we also are getting to the point where we are learning more about the infection, and Mrs. P is the root of all of this. So not only that, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a leak that was out by Piggy News. Apparently they saw an inventory, not 100% certain how solid this is, but however, there is a hat there, and that hat apparently is going to be a hat in Piggy Book 2 Chapter 10, and it is a hat with a flower. Now, who has a flower? Mrs. P. So it looks like Mrs. P will have a hat with a flower. Definitely think that this is going to be a return of Mrs. P, ladies and gentlemen, and I really look forward to seeing this. That flower could also be quite different when you think about it, like being that the image is bright, it could also be like, what if on the outside it's like kind of a black flower and then the Eye of Insolence is in the middle? That could also be something, but I definitely think Mrs. P is going to be returning. I hope we have a conversation with Mrs. P. That's going to be amazing if we do, and I mean, I'm just going to be jaw-dropped if we do manage to meet this character. But I expect chapter 10 to end in an incredible fashion. I believe the endings are also going to be different as well. I would say that Doc's probably had one of the best endings, I'd say personally, because we got a lot of story, a lot of info on it, and I think it's just going to be awesome. But really looking forward to playing chapter 10, ladies and gentlemen. I will be sure to keep you guys posted on every single thing as well. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome chapter and I cannot wait. But thank you all so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share. And again, also feel free to subscribe for more. And if you're new, and if you want to show that further support to me, you can always use star code BigB2 when purchasing Robux or Premium. I appreciate everyone who's been using my star code BigB2. It's really helped out a lot and I really appreciate you. So that being said, I will see you in the next one. Bye.